Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Nitro Team binding. I rode this binding at Arapahoe Basin on a sunny bluebird day with warmer temps. You had icy snow, chop, chunder, perfect hero corduroy, and I rode it with my Telos Mike Rankwit snowboard and my K2 Thraxis boots. Alright, when it comes to binding adjustability, you got two screws on the back of the heel cup. You loosen them up, you can pull it out, push it forward depending on how you need to center the boot. There's also a high back rotation in there, so you can just angle that high back to your back edge if that's your thing. You do have push pins on the toe strap, so you can push it down, pull it back up. You can have it a little more forward, a little more backwards. The toe ramp is adjustable, so you can slide it a little bit more forward or backwards. Then you also have flip tabs on the straps for lengthening or shortening them. Finally, you have the forward lean adjustment on the high back. Flip it down, slide it up, lock it back in. There you go. That's all your adjustability. It's pretty straightforward stuff with this binding. So the big story with the straps is the Uber toe strap. It does have Vibram in it, so that way it will grip better over the toe. It has a giant cutout. When it comes to the heel strap, it's a multi-piece design and it will stretch and break in over time. This is an old school design. It's one of those ones that's just got multi-levels of fabric in there. You're gonna notice that sometimes snow will stick to it. You can feel it when it gets wet. It's gonna stretch, it's gonna break in. This also can lead to you getting pinch points as well as hot spots with it. When it comes to the ratchets, the one finger quick release works exactly how you'd want. When you put it in, it climbs well enough on the toe. It could use a wider feed just for that ladder. I had that thing sticking a few times when I was pushing it through. These do break in over time, so they will get easier to use. By and large, they never prematurely released. I never had any problems with them sticking or anything like that, so they did their job. All right, so with the high back, it's a little thicker. You can actually get some play out of it laterally in there as well. This lets you drive into it, be a little more aggressive when you're pushing straight back, but when you're trying to tweak with it, you've got that give. Forward lean, you can adjust it on the fly, slide it up, slide it down. There you go. It's not in a set screw like the Pro version. Basically, it's a high back, does high back things. That's all you need to know. All right, so this is your standard run-of-the-mill all-mountain freestyle flex. Nothing mind-blowing here. You do have the mini disc right underfoot, which does give it a little bit more lateral play. You'll notice that you get a little more power down into the toe and the heel. By and large, it's not a stiff binding. It just feels like it's there, it's secure. You do have a little bit more give in the center of the strap and a little more power on the outside just because of the thickness of it. When it comes to the ride of this binding, what you need to talk about is the air dampening system underfoot. It's not as aggressive as the Pro version, so you do feel a little bit more kinetic energy underfoot. Not much, just a little bit. By and large, still does a good job of dampening. So this is like a damp, lively binding. You can basically be assertive with it when you need to, but when you're in really choppy terrain, you know that it's going to work to help dissipate all that vibration so that your knees and ankles don't take the hammering all day. Who's this binding for? The all-mountain freestyle guy. Okay, so when you compare this to the Pro version, I like the high back a little bit more. You can just drive into it a little bit better in there. I also like the way that the strap fit. You just got more power on the outside. It was just a little bit more rigid. One thing to note is that the medium goes up to a 10.5. I have a 10 boot. It was still tight on the heel in this chassis, the Pro chassis, the One chassis. The only one that it wasn't was the Phantom, actually. So just be aware that it's going to be tight and snug in there if you have a bulkier boot. The other thing is it had a 3-degree cant plate in the toe ramp. I never noticed it. Just wasn't there. Overall, it's a good binding for what it is. I wish it had new age straps. I really do. Just, I think a more minimal design in the strap, because I know that these will break in over time and they're just going to stretch, which is going to change the fit for anyone that ends up with them. Comparable bindings: the K2 Formula, the Now Select Pro, the Burton Cartel. This has been my review of the Nitro Team binding. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Are you going to buy a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.